My mother-in-law is demanding that I name my child after her late husband because it is her baby. The beginning of all this chaos was a time of excitement and anticipation. I was pregnant with my first child, and everything felt like it was falling into place. My fiancé and I were thrilled, each day feeling like we were inching closer to meeting the little one that would change everything. I had always imagined the start of motherhood to be filled with joy, and for a while it was. We had decided to keep the gender of the baby a surprise. It seemed like the best way to enjoy the anticipation, to buy cute clothes without worrying about whether they were for a boy or a girl. We picked out adorable outfits, and if we ended up with a boy, the clothes for a girl would just be donated, and vice versa. Nothing was wasted, everything was planned, and the joy of it all was overwhelming. But then things took an unexpected turn. It was 3 days ago when the first seed of conflict was planted. I had agreed to meet my mother-in-law for coffee. I knew she was excited about the baby too, but I didn't expect how quickly things would spiral out of control. As we sat down, she couldn't wait to start talking names. At first, I was fine with it. It was casual, just a conversation. She tossed out a few names, Theodore, Jackson, Lars, but the one that caught me off guard was Gershon. I paused, trying to understand where she was coming from. Gershon? It sounded so old-fashioned, like a name from a different time, a different world. And as it turned out, it wasn't just a random suggestion. She explained that Gershon was the name of her late husband. He had passed away when my fiancé was only 5 years old. The man, who had died from a drug overdose, was clearly still a painful memory for her. My mind raced. She wanted us to name our child after him? I didn't know how to respond, but I tried to keep things light. What if it's a girl? I asked, trying to steer the conversation in a less contentious direction. And no offense, but it's such a unique name, very special. The air shifted. Her face tightened, and I could feel the tension building. She didn't like my response, not one bit. Her voice grew sharper as she told me she knew the baby was going to be a boy. I was still trying to wrap my head around this, but she was already rubbing my stomach, without asking, without any awareness of how I felt about touch, especially given my sensitivity due to Asperger's. I quickly pulled back, feeling violated. How about Sean? I suggested, hoping for a more neutral name. Her reaction was immediate and harsh. She looked at me like I had just suggested something offensive. No, she said flatly. We need an American name. Not Irish. She said it with such conviction, like my background meant nothing to her. I couldn't believe it. I'm Irish, I said. I was born in Cork. You know that. But she wasn't listening. She wasn't hearing me at all. Her focus was entirely on one thing, making sure the baby's name was tied to her late husband. I tried again. What about Asha? It's unique, strong. And oh, she snapped. My baby is a boy. A boy. Her voice cracked, and I could see her temper flare. I felt my chest tighten. I tried to calm her down. Okay, how about Leo? I suggested, hoping that would be neutral enough to end the conversation. That was the tipping point. She picked up her coffee cup, and in a flash, she threw it at me. The liquid splashed across my shirt and burned my skin. I stood up immediately, heart racing. I couldn't believe what had just happened. I had never experienced anything like that before, and I didn't want to stay there any longer. I drove straight to McDonald's, my hands trembling as I tried to clean up the mess she had made of me, both physically and emotionally. I couldn't fathom how a simple discussion about names had turned into something so volatile. When I got home, I told my fiancé everything. He was shocked. He couldn't believe his mother had done that, but at the same time, I could see a hint of hesitation in his eyes. I knew he didn't want to be caught between the two of us. But I didn't need his hesitation. I needed support. He went to confront her, but the moment he did, the manipulation began. My mother-in-law started crying, claiming I had started the whole thing. She told him I was overreacting and that I didn't understand how much it would mean to her if we named the baby after her late husband. She promised to make everything right if I just let it go. But it wasn't just the name. It was everything. She was trying to assert ownership over the baby, over my relationship with my fiancé, and over our family. She was trying to dictate how things were going to go, and I wasn't going to let that happen. My fiancé was torn. He said he understood what I was saying, but it seemed like he was trying to make peace to smooth things over. He was so conflicted about who to believe, about whether I was being too harsh on his mother. He even told me that her late husband had been the love of her life, and it would mean so much to her if we honored his memory. The guilt trip was in full swing. But for me, it wasn't just about the name. It was about respect. It was about setting boundaries, and it was about not letting anyone, especially her, control me or my family. It wasn't over yet. A couple of days later, my mother-in-law called, asking to come over for tea, like nothing had happened. She pretended as though we were on the verge of reconciliation, like everything was normal. But I wasn't about to fall for it again. I told her it was over. I told her I wanted nothing more to do with her. I told her that if she tried to come near me or my fiancé again, I would take legal action. Her response was chilling. She told me, in no uncertain terms, that the baby was hers, that she had every right to be involved in every decision. And when I insisted that it was my baby, she twisted it further. "Have you taken your medication?" she asked, her voice dripping with condescension. "You know how you are when you don't take your meds. Are you sure you're fit to take care of the baby? I can help. Just let me come over and we can arrange everything." I lost it. The nerve of her trying to manipulate me with my own mental health. I ended the call right there, shaking with anger. My fiancé had finally had enough too. He sent her a text, making it clear that she was no longer welcome in our lives. He blocked her number and we moved on. But the damage was done. Things haven't been the same since. There's still that gnawing feeling in my chest, a lingering distrust that I can't shake. My fiancé has been more affectionate than usual, buying me expensive gifts and taking me out on dates, but I can tell he's trying to make up for the guilt he feels. I know he cares, but sometimes I wonder if he truly gets the depth of what I've been through. For now, we're just trying to focus on the baby, on the joy that's still ahead of us. But I know one thing for sure: I won't let anyone, no matter who they are, take away my voice in how this baby is raised or how my family is shaped. The lesson is clear: set your boundaries and never let anyone walk all over them, no matter how much they try to manipulate you.